Hi everyone, it's Leslie McAllister again. Today I'll be guiding you through an hour-long practice that emphasizes balance poses. So why practice balance poses? For one thing, they are really helpful for improving our focus and concentration. So in terms of preparing for musical performance, they can really be helpful as even pre-performance poses. For example, tree, which we'll be practicing later. Balance poses are also, of course, helpful as we age to prevent us from falling. And yoga in itself is a practice to facilitate balance. So we think about balancing the front and back of the body as well as the left and right sides of the body in yoga. There's a couple of things to keep in mind as we move through these poses. One is that activating through the core, drawing the navel in toward the spine. It's a really helpful way for us to stay balanced on one leg. Another is that we need to find a drishti gaze. So this is a focal point that you'll use just to gaze on that one point, maybe on the floor, which is often the easiest, or at horizon level, which keeps our cervical spine in alignment. Keep in mind that as we move through the balance poses, we'll be using both some poses that we hold in stillness, and we'll be doing others in which we're moving, called moving balance poses. So in those, we are teaching the process of facilitation, where we learn to adjust the body to stay balanced. Remember that the goal is not necessarily to stay upright the whole time. When we wobble, when we fall out of a pose and we get right back up, that's teaching our body and training our body to learn to become balanced. Certainly with some of these poses, you may want to stand near a wall or even a chair so that there's something nearby that you can grab onto if necessary. I do have two blocks here, so if you happen to have two blocks handy that you'd like to use in the practice, these may be helpful, and you'll just put those on the front of the mat, one on either side of the mat. So we'll begin first in child's pose. So for this, you'll come to a tabletop position on hands and knees, and then begin to allow your hips to sink back toward your heels, relaxing down into child's pose, balasana. Here you can either stretch the hands forward, pressing into the palms so much that your elbows are actually lifted off the mat. Or you might even take the hands behind you and just relax the palms against the bottoms of the feet. You might also take your legs into a wide V so that you allow your torso to rest between them. And if this is really uncomfortable for any reason, just bring those hands together and you might come to more of a puppy pose, which is more of a shoulder stretch, where you're lifting the hips up just over the knees. So you can kind of pick what works for you. Some people also like to have a block between their legs in child's pose. And so finding that resting position here at the beginning of practice. This is a forward fold, so it's a very introverted, restful posture. And here we're going to begin to practice a type of breathing where we extend the exhalation. So inhalations are generally stimulating, and exhalations are relaxing. So they lower blood pressure, they lower heart rate, they help to engage the parasympathetic or the rest and relax part of the body. So as we move into this pose, just begin to become present on your mat. Begin to let go of what came before, let go of thoughts of what's coming up after this, and then transition from getting to your mat into fully being there on your mat. Allowing your shoulder blades to widen away from each other, allowing your hips to sink just a little bit deeper in this pose, maybe wiggling your hips gently from side to side if that feels good. Or even allowing your forehead to just roll and sway gently from side to side, providing this nice and gentle massage for the cranium. And now we'll begin to integrate our breathing. So for now, just remember to inhale through the nose and exhale through the nose or the mouth. And we'll just start with a gentle 4-count breath. So inhale for 4, and exhale for 4. Inhale for 4, and exhale for 5. Inhale for 4, and exhale for 6. Keep doing that same count, 4 to 6 ratio, but we're going to retain the breath at the bottom of the exhale, begin exhaling.
5, 6, and hold 2. Again, inhale 4. And exhale for 6. And hold. We'll do that one more time together. Inhale. Exhale. And hold. 2. Release back into natural breathing. Or if you enjoy that counting, feel free to continue with that extended exhalation.
That relaxing breath can be really helpful even as a pre-performance breathing routine to help us feel more relaxed and centered before the performance.
So we'll just hold for 2 more normal inhales and exhales, beginning to come back into your Ujjayi pranayama. So engaging that constriction of the back of the throat. And on your next inhale, let's begin to come up, not into tabletop, but into more of a modified plank, so that you walk your hands just an inch or 2 further. And then as you exhale, we're going to keep the elbows close into the side body as you lower down just about halfway. Press yourself back up on an inhale, and then exhale, slowly release those hips back down to the earth. We'll do that 2 more times. So inhale, come into that modified plank, making a straight line from crown to knees. Exhale, elbows close and lower down as much as you can. Inhale, press back up, and exhale, child's pose. One more time here. Make this movement slow and steady. Allow the breath to be slow and steady as you move. Press the floor away from you, and then exhale, release back into that child's pose. We're going to bring the knees back together and begin to walk the hands toward your hips, sitting your hips down over your heels into hero's pose or virasana. So here we're just going to begin to do some what we call hero rolls, inhaling to extend the heart forward and gradually lower the torso or the belly over the thighs. And then exhale as we round the spine, tucking the chin in and rolling the vertebrae up one at a time, stacking shoulder to hips. Again, inhale, roll forward. Lead with the heart, release the torso down, fold in. And then exhale, roll slowly, chin to chest, gradually coming back to that strong hero's pose. Last time, leading with the heart, inhale. And then exhale, roll up. Beautiful. Now on our next inhale, we're going to lift up off of our heels, reach up. And then exhale, swan dive, come back to hero's pose. We'll do that 2 more times again, moving slowly, as if you're moving your hands through molasses. Look up at your hands, exhale, release. Hands beside your hips. One last time, inhale. This time, look up at your hands, press your hands together slightly, and then as you lower down, draw the thumbs into the sternum, bow down slightly, and just take a moment to set your intention for this practice today. So maybe your attention again is to stay centered. Maybe your attention is to be wholly focused when you're in those balance poses. So go ahead and inhale. And as you exhale, hold that intention in your heart center. Allow that intention to be absorbed into your mindset. Next, we're going to come back to that kneeling position, hips over knees, and adjust your knees slightly so that your knees are about hips distance apart. Now we're going to take our left leg out to the side, pressing our left foot into the ground and maybe angling that foot slightly so that the toes point toward the corners of the mat, pressing it even to the outer blade of the feet. We'll inhale, reach the hands overhead, and we're going to move into a flow movement here. So inhale to lengthen, and then exhale to lower down into a side bend over to the left, reaching the left hand light toward your thigh. Inhale, reach, and then exhale, opposite direction. So right knee comes to the earth, reach the left hand over toward the side of the room. Inhale, back up. We'll do that 3 more times. Reach and exhale. And then reach, inhale, lift, and then exhale. Last time, inhale. This time we're going to hold this side bend. Inhale to lift and lengthen through your side body, and then exhale to make a C shape. Keeping our chest nice and open, ear is close to the bicep, hand is light on the thigh. This is Parigasana, or gate pose. Wonderful way to open up those intercostal ribs, helping us to deepen our breathing. Let's bring the left knee to meet the right, hands on the earth. This time, let's take the right foot out beside us. Again, check to make sure the hip is lined and stacked right over the ankle. Adjust your foot so that you're pressing into that outer blade as much as you are into the inner arch of the foot. Inhale, lift. Exhale, bend toward that right leg. Inhale, lift up. And then exhale, opposite side, reaching toward the side of the room. Inhale, lift. Exhale, side bend. Inhale, lift. And exhale, opposite side. Beautiful. Now we're going to inhale, lift our last time on this right side. Keep that right hand light. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, bend over to the right. Remember, we're not allowing that shoulder to come forward, but we're staying nice and open with our chest. Maybe even looking up if that doesn't bother your neck. Take another inhale there. So you can go a little bit deeper. And then as you exhale, release hands to the earth. Come back to your tabletop position here. So shoulders stacked over wrists, hips stacked over knees. Let's begin to inhale, arch into our cow pose, looking up forward. And then exhale, round. Press the earth away from you. Cat pose. One more time, inhale. And then exhale, press and round. Draw your shoulder blades away from each other. Lift that belly button up and in. Come back to neutral spine here. And then we're going to take that right foot behind you. So first start by just evening out your hips. So maybe the right hip comes down a little bit. And then press into the ball of that right foot so that you feel that little bit of a stretch in your calf. Now when you're ready, we're going to take the left hand in front of you lightly, resting it on the floor. Then inhale, lift both the left arm and the right foot. Making a straight line. We'll do that 2 more times. Inhale to lift. Draw the navel in toward the spine as you do so. Exhale to lower. Inhale to lift. And exhale to lower. See if you can keep those hips nice and even. We're going to lift one more time and hold this lift. So imagine lengthening all the way from your fingertips all the way through your heel toward the front and back of the room. Draw the navel in. One more inhale, lengthen. Exhale, release the left hand, release the right knee, walk it forward just a little bit, and we'll take a slow hip circle in a clockwise direction, letting your heels come toward your hips on the way around. Come back to center. Beautiful. Return your hands back to that tabletop position. This time we'll take the left foot behind you, again pressing into the earth. So as you feel that stretch in the calf, see if you can still keep that neutral spine, but look forward just a little bit. And then allow your right hand fingertips to rest on the earth, engage the core. And then on your next inhale, lift foot and arm. And exhale, lower. 2 more times, inhale, lift, move slowly. Exhale, lower. Last time, draw that navel in, zip up through the low belly. Exhale and lower. Last time, this time we'll hold it. Inhale, reach, lengthen, fingertips to the front of the room. Heel to the back of the room. Draw that navel in toward the spine. One more inhale to lengthen. Exhale to release the right hand, the left knee. Again, walk it forward a couple of inches. Slow hip circle counterclockwise. Moving to the left, down, around toward your heels, and back in a circle, coming back to that tabletop position. We're going to walk our hands forward again to modified plank. This time, lower all the way down toward the earth. And then we're going to press up into cobra. So pull your chest through your hands. Draw the palms of your hands toward the back of the mat. Keep your tops of your feet on the floor. And then exhale, tuck your toes, press the floor away, and lift your hips into your downward facing dog. Let's just pedal out our downward facing dog for a moment first, so bending one knee and the other, just settling into this pose. Maybe we can find ourselves taking our feet over to one side and then taking our feet over to the other, just moving in a way that feels good for you. And then when you're ready to come to stillness in this pose, let's all inhale, lift our heels up, and then exhale to draw those heels closer to the earth. One more time there, inhale to lift, and exhale to release the heels to the ground. So now in this downward facing dog, really press the floor away from you, press the mat with your hands to the front of the room, and use your feet to draw that mat to the back of the room, so you're stretching the mat out long. Inhale, lift those hips up higher, and exhale, lengthen in all directions. Let's go ahead and walk those hands back. So just notice what hand you used to walk back to our forward fold. In this forward fold, we're going to widen out the feet a little wider than hips distance apart. You can heel toe them out, grasp opposite elbows, and then just begin to slowly release from one side to the other, just swaying gently from side to side. And then heel toe those feet back to being hips distance apart. Press into your feet, root into your feet to rise up, reverse swan dive. Look up at your hands, and then exhale, hands to heart center. Return yourself to that intention that you set in hero's pose at the beginning. So that action of rooting strongly into the triangle of your foot will really help you when we move into these one-legged balance poses. So here we're going to move into what we can call a walking warrior 3. So I'll quickly demonstrate what that looks like if you're not familiar with warrior 3. We'll lift the knee into stork, place that foot down, and begin to tip the left foot up, keeping a flat back. You can keep your hands at prayer position for this. So let's come to the back of your mat. We're going to find that mountain pose Tadasana to start. Hands to heart center, rooting into the left foot. Inhale to lift the right knee. Exhale to step it down, press into the full triangle of your foot, lift up your left leg, tip your torso forward, and then inhale, slowly rooting in, lift up into stork with your left leg. Press that left foot down and tip forward, lifting your right foot behind you. Inhale, lift back into stork pose, and exhale to come back to standing. So remember, we're just having fun in these poses, so a little bit wobbling, a little bit of falling out is perfectly okay. We'll just turn around and face the opposite direction, coming in the opposite direction on our mat. So thumbs come back to the sternum, hands to heart center, press them in really gently together, about 30% effort. Now root into the left leg. So we're going to lift the right knee, step it down, lift the left foot behind us. Inhale, press into the right foot, lift the left knee. Exhale, plant the left foot, lift the right leg behind us. Inhale, come back to stork pose. And exhale, back to the back of the mat, and we'll turn it around so we're at the back of our mat facing forward. Beautiful. Now we're going to inhale, I'll just face forward, but you stay right where you are, just so you can see me. We're going to move into a side bend flow. So lift your hands up to the sky. See if you can take a steeple grip. If that's uncomfortable, just leave one hand by your side body. So inhale, lengthen, and then exhale over to the left, making a little C shape with your body. Inhale back to center, and exhale to the right. So you can keep that chest nice and open, and then press out through the opposite foot. So you're pressing into the right foot this time, allowing that right hip to come to the side a little bit. Inhale, lift, and then exhale, opposite side, rooting into both feet strongly. Good, this time we'll hold it. So inhale, lift, over to the left this time. Now option is we hold it to release that left hand down. Option if you want to try balance here and you feel strong in it, you can even take that right foot out to the side. Just keep those toes propped up on the floor for a moment. And if you'd like to try just lifting that Left foot up, making that C shape with your body. We'll throw in a little balance. Inhale, return to center. Keep that steeple grip or release this time the right hand. Inhale, lengthen, and then exhale over to the right this time. So as we bend, we stay nice and lifted through our chest, and you can try, if you'd like, propping that right foot over to the side, maybe allowing it to come off the floor just an inch, maybe lifting it up a little bit more. Allow yourself to come back to that tiptoes if you want to. One more inhale to lengthen, and then exhale, release. And we'll just take a little bit of forward fold here just for a moment. Just release into that forward fold, maybe bend one knee and then the other. Not too deep yet. And then again, pressing into your feet, bend your knees, root to rise and lift. Exhale, heart center. Good. Now we're going to keep our hands at start center. Make sure your feet are a little bit, you are just right hip distance apart. And then we're going to find our focal point. So see if you can find a focal point under drishti gaze that's about horizon level. Now just begin to come onto your tiptoes, lift your heels off the earth on an inhale, and exhale to release the heels back down. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale to lift. Your heels may not come very far, that's okay, but we are moving nice and slow and moving with our own breath. Now this time we're going to lift your hands up to the sky as we lift our heels off the floor. And then as you lower the heels, come into a goalpost back bend. Inhale, lift heels and lift hands. And then exhale, come into that back bend. Maybe allow your hips to come forward just a little bit in that back bend. One more time, inhale, see if you can lift up off the heels. And then exhale, back bend. Now this time we're going to try a little challenge. Come up onto the balls of your feet. See if you can hold that while you move into your back bend. So if moving the gaze up to the sky is too much, because that does challenge the back bend, then hold that drishti gaze. Inhale back overhead and exhale slowly lower down. We'll swan dive down into our forward fold. And this time maybe we can release a little bit more deeply. So inhale, lift with the heart, look forward. And then exhale, lower down over your thighs. Allow yourself to fold into the pose, releasing the belly a little closer to the thighs. Inhale, lift your hips up a little bit higher. And then exhale, fold a little bit more deeply into Uttanasana, forward fold. Good. And we're going to press into those feet again, lift up. And then return to the back of your mat. Well, you're already at the back of your mat. I will return to the back of the mat so I can demonstrate our next sequence. All right, so we are going to inhale, lift your hands up high, come back into that forward fold, and we're going to inhale to a half lift. So pressing the hands on the thighs, making the straight line from crown of head to hips. Exhale, release. Inhale, press into your feet, lift up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Good. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. And exhale, fold. Now we're going to walk it out to our plank position here. So from plank, go ahead and release your knees onto the earth. Release the shoelace side of your feet onto the earth. Reach your heart forward, and then keeping those elbows close into the side body, exhale completely and release the belly onto the earth. Again, we're pressing our heart through our hands into our cobra pose. Come back into modified plank, tuck your toes, and lift up into downward facing dog. We're going to move through that same sequence one more time. So first, come to your modified plank, knees on the earth. Exhale, release tops of feet, release the belly onto the earth. Pull yourself through Bhujangasana, Cobra. Come back to modified plank, tuck your toes, and lift up into downward facing dog. Good. Walk the hands back. See if you can start with the opposite hand this time. Walking yourself back to that forward fold. Press into the feet. Root to rise. Lift up. Hands to heart center. Now we're going to be moving back into that stork to warrior 3. But we'll just stay in warrior 3 this time. So hands to start center. Begin to Press evenly into all three corners of your left foot. So grounding into your left foot. Light on your right foot. Inhale to lift it into stork. Let's just point and flex your foot for a moment. Moving the foot in a circle in one direction and then in the opposite direction. Give a little break for your feet. Then as you exhale, step your right foot through. Take a pretty big step. And then begin to tip your heart forward. Lift that left leg behind you. So staying here, think about drawing the left hip down a little bit to make those hips nice and even. You're flexing through the back foot toward the back of the room. And you have the option to keep those hands to heart center, extend them into airplane, or if you want the full version of Virabhadrasana 3, you can draw those hands toward the front of the room. Take one more inhale to lengthen fingers to heel, and then as slowly as you can, allow the left foot to come onto the earth into a crescent lunge. If your stance doesn't feel comfortable here, adjust as necessary. You want the knee stacked over the ankle, the knee moving in the direction of the pinky side of the foot. So stack shoulders over hips, knee over heel. Inhale, lift your hands up to the sky. Exhale, take your right hand to your right thigh. Inhale, lift up, reach your hand up high, and then exhale, bend over to the right into that little side body stretch. You're pressing up through the back of your thigh in the left leg. Take one more inhale, lift both hands overhead, and then exhale into that little goalpost back bend for a moment. Now, as you move into your next inhale, bring the hands up, and then take the left hand across the right thigh. Take the right hand behind your low back. Begin to twist your left lung up and to the right. From here, you might take the hands to heart center. You might stay lifted, or you might even feel comfortable going down so that the upper arm, the upper left arm, touches the right thigh. Inhale, and then exhale. Take the hands down to the earth. Release the left knee down to the earth. And then we'll move into our Anjaneyasana, low lunge. So take the hands on top of the right thigh. Press your leg away and feel your navel coming closer in toward your spine as you do that. Inhale to lift the hands overhead. Extend your hips forward a little bit. And then maybe extend into a little bit of a back bend. You can already feel this is a balance pose. We're having to balance on that front foot. Exhale, release the hands to the earth. Now here's where your blocks might be handy as we move into a half monkey lunge here. So begin to scoot your foot forward a little bit, flexing through the foot. So think about pressing your heel toward the front of the mat. Blocks can be at any of the three heights, low, medium, or high. Or if it's comfortable to take the hands to the earth, that's option 2. Draw the right hip toward the back of the mat. Inhale, lift and lead with the heart. And then exhale, allow yourself to round over that front leg, releasing the forehead a little bit closer to the knee. Take a deep inhale here. Deep exhale. One more time, inhale. And exhale, release more deeply into that fold, release to the head and neck. Allowing ourselves to come forward, place that right foot flat on the earth. This time we're taking both hands on the inside of that right foot. So coming into a lizard lunge. From this point, maybe that feels like enough on your hips to just stay here, leading with the heart forward. Maybe you want to come on the outside of that right foot and take the knee out a little bit. Just kind of see what feels good in your hips. We're opening up through the hips here. Or you might even want to come onto your forearms if that doesn't feel like too deep of a stretch. Take one more inhale here. Wherever you are, see if you can reach your heart forward, drawing the shoulders away from the ears. One more exhale. Come back onto your hands if you went onto your forearms. Take the right hand on the outside of that right foot. And then we're going to spin our left knee to maybe a 45-degree angle. You can see how my foot is kind of on the outer corner of the mat. So pressing into that left shin, pressing into our left hand, take the right foot behind you so that we're moving into a side plank. Good, so right here, we can feel that we are reaching our right hand up to the sky. And if you feel pretty stable, I want to try lifting that right foot up. That's just a little bit more of a challenge in this side plank. If you're ready to do more, either stay where you are or move with me. We'll reach the right hand overhead, inhale, and then exhale, see if you can crunch the elbow to the knee. We'll do that 2 more times. Inhale to reach, and exhale to crunch. 1 more time, inhale, reach, and exhale, crunch. Come back to that side plank, and then exhale, release the right hand to the earth, release the right knee to the earth, and then press up into your downward facing dog. Good. Let's walk the hands back to meet the hands. See if you can start on the alternate side. This time with your hands, come into your forward fold. And then press into your feet. Bend your knees strongly. Lift up into Urdhva Hastasana, upward salute, and then to mountain pose. So adjust your blocks as needed. I'll take my blocks back to the outside edges of the front part of the mat. Now coming back into that stork to warrior 3. So you might want to move up just a little bit on your mat for this. So again, see if you can root into the triangle of your right foot. Draw in through your core. Come lie on your left foot, inhale to lift it up, and then begin to point and flex that foot. Moving in circles, one direction, and then the other. See if you can stay nice and tall with your spine while you do so. On your next exhale, plant the left foot, begin to tip forward, lifting your right foot up behind you. Flex through that right foot as if you're pressing it into a wall. And allow for this straight line from head to heel. Now you notice my hip wants to come up a little bit. So think about drawing that right hip down. Draw the navel in, find your focal point on the earth, and then adjust your arm position just if you want to. You don't need to. Prayer position is great. Take 1 more inhale there, lengthen. Exhale, slow, slow, slow. Bend the front knee and gradually plant that right foot behind you, coming into your crescent lunge. So we'll take a moment here. Adjust your stance as you need to. Press up through your outer thigh. Make sure that your left knee is stacked over your ankle and in the direction of the outside of the foot. Stack the shoulders over the hips, lift and reach, inhale. Exhale, place the left hand down the thigh. Inhale, reach with your hand. Exhale, bend over to the left. Beautiful, nice and open through your chest. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, goalpost back bend. Reach with your heart up toward the sky. 1 more inhale for our twist. So we're taking the right hand to the left, outside of the left thigh. Left hand behind the low back. Twist the right side body up. And then maybe begin to lower. Take your hands to heart center. I'll move so you can see me. Hover there, or maybe you can hook your right elbow across the thigh. We won't stay there long. Take 1 more inhale. Exhale, release the hands to the earth. Release the knee to the earth. So here's where you might want to have those blocks nearby as we move into our half monkey lunge. So first, we'll inhale, lift our arms up overhead, press the hips forward, and extend into that back bend, looking up. Drawing shoulders away from the ears. 1 more inhale. As you exhale, lower the hands, grab your blocks if necessary. You'll scoot the foot forward a little bit, flexing through the foot. Drag your heel and your left hip back a little bit. Inhale, reach with your heart. Exhale, lower down over that front leg. Beautiful, releasing into this forward fold. Allow yourself to just enjoy the relaxing effects of this forward fold. From there, press the left foot flat into the earth. Walk forward a little bit so that the hands come on the inside of your left foot. Maybe you drag your right knee just a little bit. And remember that we're drawing our heart forward in our lizard lunge. Stay right here or play around with some modifications. You can take the left knee out to the side a little bit, continuing to lead with your heart. You can come down to your forearms if you need a deeper stretch or a more intense stretch. And just make sure that you continue drawing those shoulder blades together and down the back. Inhale, plant your hands again if you were on your forearms. Take them to the outside of your left foot. And we're moving into that side plank. So the right shin comes flat on the earth. We're going to lift the left leg up and windmill over to face the left side of the room. Lifting with your left hand up to the sky. Look up at that hand. Maybe lift the left foot as well. So again, you have your options here. You can stay right here in this modification of side plank, or if you want to try those crunches, lean your left hand overhead, over your ear, inhale, and then exhale, crunch it in, elbow to knee. 2 more times, moving nice and slow. Inhale, lengthen, and then exhale, elbow to knee. Last time, inhale, and exhale, crunch it in. Let's do last inhale, reaching, extending, and then plant that left hand, plant that left knee. Let's release into our child's pose from here, just taking a little breather. So again, shifting those hips from side to side, if that feels good in your body. Maybe you want to turn your palms face up if you need that little break with your wrists. If your wrists are feeling tired from all those side planks, you might even do a little bit of clenching and releasing. You can also come into tabletop pose and then face the hands first out to the side. Make little circles with your body. And opposite direction. And then face the fingers toward the knees. These are just options if you want a little bit of a stretch for your wrists. You can stay in child's pose here as well. Make little circles. You feel that stretch when you move your hips back of the forearms, move in the opposite direction. Good. Maybe take that little bit of a stretch, moving your hips back. And then let's try a little counter pose. Place the backs of the hands on the earth. Press the backs of the hands. Good. We'll all meet together in our child's pose. Now before we did kind of a little mini vinyasa with a modified plank. So keep that mini vinyasa, or if you want to try the full plank, that's an option too. I'll demonstrate that second option. So we're going to press into our hands, tuck our toes, inhale to lift our hips up to the sky, downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Inhale to plank or modified plank. Exhale, lower down, chaturanga. Release the tops of the feet to the earth. Now here, either lower the knees and come into Cobra, Bhujangasana, or you can keep the knees off the earth in upward facing dog. Tuck the toes, press up into downward facing dog. We'll try that one more time together. So I'll demonstrate that upward facing dog this time. Inhale to plank. Exhale, lower halfway down. Tops of feet on the earth, press it forward. This is your upward facing dog, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. And then tuck your toes, press into your hands, lift your hips in downward facing dog. Beautiful. Moving into our second sequence here, we're going to inhale to lift the right leg up, toes point towards the earth. And then exhale, crunch the knee into the chest, hold for an inhale, press the floor away from you, and then exhale, plant the foot between your hands. Look forward, lead with your heart first, and then exhale, take your hands on top of your thigh. Good. Inhale to lift up with your hands and press the thigh up toward the sky. On your next exhale, take the back foot in and position it at a 45-degree angle. So here, take the feet about hips distance apart. So when you move forward, it's like Virabhadrasana 1 where their hips are facing forward. Now we're going to inhale, lift up. Exhale, swan dive just halfway down, keeping a nice flat back first. Take the right hip behind you, even out through the hips. Inhale, and then exhale, release into Parsvasana. Now, for you, you may have those blocks handy to get the floor a little bit higher to reach. Or you may be able to reach the floor. Wherever you are, let's do one more inhale to lift the chest, and then exhale to fold down over that front leg. Parsvasana, pyramid pose. Release again into your forward fold. Inhale, use your core to lift you back up, and then pitching that right foot in to come to a wide-legged position on your mat. So in this wide-legged position, let's just lunge a couple of times from side to side. Good, and then we're going to lift the hands overhead, pitching the toes in toward each other. Exhale, swan dive, again, halfway down. Lengthen through your spine first, inhale, and then exhale, release the hands to the earth, coming into your wide-legged forward fold. Prasarita Padjanasana. Releasing the crown of the head toward the earth, pressing the hands between the feet. And make sure that you're pressing into the outer blades of both feet evenly. Inhale to lift the hips a little bit higher up to the sky. And exhale to release the crown of the head a little bit closer towards the earth here. Adjust your stance as necessary. A wider stance might allow the crown of your head to get a little bit closer towards the earth. Inhale, come to a half lift, hands on the earth. And then press into your feet, root to rise, lift your hands back overhead. And then exhale, come to the front of your mat in a lunge, and then step the right foot back into downward facing dog. So from here, we're going to take the left foot about halfway up. Plant that foot down flat. Now spin onto the outer blade of the right foot and open up into another side plank, Vasisthasana. So here this might feel great, holding it, or you might be able to move through some thread the needles where you wind that upper arm through and underneath your lower arm, or you might even try a challenge, taking that left foot back into that full version of side plank. We'll do 2 thread the needles together. Inhale, reach. Exhale, thread. Inhale, reach. And exhale, thread. Come back to that side plank. Exhale, release the left hand to the earth. Inhale, forward. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog. And exhale, tuck your toes, downward facing dog. Great job. I'll turn around so you'll be able to see me well on this side. And we'll move to the second side. Inhale, lift the left leg. Point those toes down. Look behind you to check to make sure. Exhale, crunch the knee in. Hold it for an inhale. And then exhale, softly plant that foot between your hands. Lead with the heart. Take the left hand and then the right hand onto your thigh. Press the thigh away. Lift the navel in and then reach up. Beautiful. Allow the shoulders to draw down away from the ears here. Lift the outer thigh up toward the sky. Moving into Parsvasana, plant that back foot down at your 45-degree angle and adjust your stance. Maybe taking those hips into 2 different lanes of traffic. For some people, depending on the shape of their hips, they may have the feet closer together, but most of us need our feet wider apart. Now here we can move into that same version of pyramid, or you have the option to take the hands beside you, reaching for opposite elbows for a chest opener. Wherever you are, inhale, lift with the heart, look up. Exhale, come halfway down. Draw the left hip behind you, even out through the hips. Inhale, lengthen, and then exhale, fold over that front thigh. Release your head, release your neck. Unclench the jaw. Allow the forehead to smooth out and unwind. And again, imagine that left hip drawing back. You feel more of a stretch there on the hamstring when you do that. One more inhale, lengthen. One more exhale, release more fully. Breathe. Inhale, lift all the way up. Press into your feet. And then exhale, take the left foot in, coming to your wide-legged stance. So just relax for the shoulders for a moment, maybe circling the shoulders one direction and the other. Coming back into that wide-legged forward fold, pitching the toes in slightly. Option here to clasp the hands behind the back if you'd like to do so. So inhale here, look up, lift. Exhale, let's go all the way down, releasing your head and neck closer towards the earth. Keep this very slight bend in your knees. And inhale to lift your hips higher. Imagine your spine is just waterfalling out of your pelvic floor. This traction in the spine allows for relaxation, for relief from back pain. The effects of gravity help us to provide that traction in our spine, which is really helpful for those of us who sit for long periods. Take one more inhale, release the hands slowly, take them to the earth. Press them under your nose, come to a half lift. And then exhale, press into your feet, lift your hands up toward the sky. And then walk around, come back into your downward facing dog. Walk this way. Good. Now this time, you're going to step your right foot about halfway toward your hand. Spin onto the knife blade of your left foot. Begin to windmill open and reach your right arm up to the sky. So this might be your side angle today. And you can stay there or thread the needle. If you want to try that powerful challenge, it's intense. Inhale, lift up, look up. Exhale, thread the needle. Inhale, lift up. And exhale, thread the needle. If you'd like to go for one more time, you certainly may. Exhale, lift up. And then exhale, take the right hand down, come to plank, and then rest your knees on the ground. We're going to relax into Balasana, Child's Pose one more time here. Just release. Come back to your breath here. Allow your forehead to roll gently from side to side if that helps you to feel more relaxed. Allow the full weight of your head and of your entire body to release into the mat. Take one last exhale there. As you inhale, press into your hands, tuck your toes, lift your hips up into your downward facing dog. And then for the last time, we'll walk our hands back to meet our feet. Come into a forward fold, press into your feet, root to rise, lift the hands up, and exhale, bring them to prayer position. So you can just come to the front of your mat there. I'll turn around so you can see me well. We're going to move into a moving balance practice, and then we'll hold our tree pose. So let me demonstrate what tree pose looks like so you'll know ahead of time. Vrikshasana tree. So it's a one-legged balance, and you can press your foot into either the calf or into the inner thigh. When we go through our moving balance, we'll be moving through chair, stork, and then tree. So there it's going to be easiest to press your foot into the calf. Definitely here, feel free to be near a chair or a wall if you just want that little bit of extra support. So we'll begin first with our hands to heart center, our feet about hips distance apart. Take a moment to breathe in your mountain pose. Come back to that intention that you set at the beginning of class. And then keeping your hands at heart center. We'll start here in mountain pose or Tadasana on an inhale. On an exhale, squat down. Keep your knees behind your toes in chair, Utkatasana. Inhale, press into your left foot, lift your right knee up. And then exhale, take your right foot into the calf. Nice open hip, release. Opposite side, inhale, mountain. Exhale, squat down in chair, keep your spine nice and long. Press into your right foot this time, inhale, lift. And then exhale, press into tree pose, Vrikshasana. Good. And release. This time you can try it with hands overhead or keep your hands in prayer position. Inhale there in Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, chair pose, Utkatasana. Press into the right foot, lift the left knee up, stork pose. And then exhale, tree pose. Left foot presses into the right calf. And release. Inhale, mountain pose. Exhale, chair pose. Press into the left foot, lift the right knee up. And then exhale into chair pose. We'll do this one more time, but on our last tree pose, we'll hold our tree pose. Again, options for arms extended. Inhale, exhale, chair. Press into the right foot, lift the left knee up. Exhale, chair pose and hold. So option here, if you'd like to go for a Vrikshasana with your foot pressed into the thigh, you can simply use your hand to move it there. So you can keep your hands on your hips, find your drishti gaze somewhere on the earth first, and then see if you can play with your balance to move that gaze a little bit higher to horizon level. Option to lift the hands overhead, to take them apart like an actual tree, or maybe if you're ready to play in your balance pose, you can even move from side to side as if you're swaying in the wind. Take one more inhale here. Exhale, release. You can pedal out your knees a little bit here. Moving into the opposite side. Inhale, lift your hands. Exhale, chair pose, Utkatasana. Inhale, press into the left foot, lift the right knee up. And then exhale, tree pose. Again, that option here to modify your tree so that the foot presses into the inner thigh. Even out your hips, make sure that your knee is nice and open. And then you can play around with your arm position. So find that drishti gaze first. Prayer position, arm is extended overhead. Or if you want to even try blowing your hands in the wind, that could be another fun way to really practice dynamic balance where you're moving within a balance pose. Take one more inhale, hands to heart center, lift up into stork. Release the foot. Inhale, reach the hands up. Exhale, last forward fold, Uttanasana. So maybe your deepest version of your forward fold here. Release completely into it, releasing the belly onto the thighs. And then take those hands, wrap them around your calves. If that feels good, if that bind feels good. This allows your belly to come a little bit closer to your thighs. Wherever you are in your Uttanasana, another option is if you have that block handy, you can bring the ground closer and rest your hands on the block if your hands don't quite reach the floor. Inhale to lift those hips up high. Position your weight over the heels or even the arches of the feet. Open your mouth nice and wide. And then release your jaw slowly. Close the mouth. Shake your head yes and no. Allow the hips to be the highest point of the body here. One more inhale, and then exhale, slowly release all the way down to the earth. Beautiful. And then we're going to come to a supine position. So start with your feet planted at the front of the mat. Inhale, lift your heart, and then exhale, release one vertebrae at a time down to the earth. Take your feet close toward your hips. You can press your palms into the earth. Draw your shoulder blades together behind the back and allow your fingertips to almost graze your heels. We're just going to come into a bridge pose flow. If you have that block handy, feel free on these first couple of bridges to keep the block between your thighs so you're energetically drawing the inner thighs together. Press into your feet, inhale, lift the hips, and then exhale, release the hips back down. 2 more times, inhale. And exhale. And last time, inhale. And exhale. Now here, release that block if you have it. We're going to cross the right foot over the left thigh. Press the hands into the earth and keep that foot nice and flexed. We're going to inhale, lift the hips. And see if you can keep that hip nice and open. Inhale and lift. Exhale and lower. One more time. Inhale, lift. See if you can hold this for a full breath cycle. Inhale. Exhale, release slowly down to the earth. And then draw that left knee in toward the belly. From here you can reach through your legs and clasp your hands underneath the thigh. You can even use your right elbow to press that right thigh away from you, opening through the hip. Option to keep that left leg extended or to bend the knee, it's up to you. And see if you can draw that left knee in a little bit closer. Maybe it feels good here to just roll from side to side really gently, or to just see if you can feel a deeper stretch there. On your next exhale, release the hands, release the left foot to the ground. Take your arms out wide in the T, palms facing up, and then allow the legs to drift over to the left so that the right foot comes to the earth, or almost to the earth maybe. Now from here you can stay there, pressing out through your right thigh, or if it feels good, you can allow that right knee to come closer towards the earth. You can even allow the left hand to rest on it like a miniature sandbag. Keep both shoulders resting on the earth, and maybe look over and allow your gaze to drift over to the right hand. You can keep your eyes closed here. The breath is deepening. Our body is unwinding. On your next inhale, allow your legs to come back towards center and then come back into bridge pose. Keeping those palms on the earth, let's just let the knees windmill briefly from side to side. Now we're going to switch sides in our Setu Bandha Shavasana bridge pose. We can call this figure 4 or half pigeon, it's sometimes called. So take the left foot flexed on top of the right thigh. Press the hands into the earth, coming into our bridge pose first. Press into the right foot, inhale and lift, and exhale and lower. 2 more times, moving slowly here. Inhale to lift, and lower. Last time, see if you can hold this for a full breath cycle. So we exhale, we inhale, and then we exhale, slowly releasing the hips to the earth. Now here we can draw the hands through, grasping the hands underneath the right thigh, and pull that right knee in a little bit closer to the body. Keeping that hip nice and open here. You can even use your left elbow, prop it against the thigh to open it up a little bit more. At the same time, drawing the knee in closer toward the chest. As you breathe in, imagine that lower back relaxing into the earth, maybe roll from side to side if that feels good. Releasing through the back. Take another inhale there. And then as you exhale, take your hands out to the sides, palms facing up, and this time allow your legs to drift over to the right. So maybe that right leg is able to come to the earth. The left foot might come to the earth, and again you can press out, opening the hip, or allow that left knee to come closer towards the earth, deepening the twist, keeping a soft gaze or closing your eyes. You can allow your head to turn to look over at your left hand. Keep both shoulders resting heavy on the earth. Releasing the spine in this supine twist. Supta Matsyendrasana variation. Take one more inhale. As you exhale, release, come back to your bridge pose, and then draw the knees into the chest. Wrap your arms around the knees, around the shins. Roll from side to side. Maybe tuck up. And then release fully, one vertebrae at a time. Allow yourself to rest into the mat. Coming into our Shavasana, fully supine pose. We're going to move into a progressive relaxation here. So in progressive relaxation, we train the body to become, you stay right where you are, we train the body to become aware of different levels of tension in the body. So it helps to develop our awareness of these residual areas of tension. In order to do that and to attain a deeper level of relaxation, we actually tense the muscle first. So we're going to go through 5 different steps to tense and then release each part of our body. We'll tense it for 5 to 7 seconds, and then we'll allow that part of our body to release. So we'll start first with your dominant hand. So this might be your right hand if you're right-handed. I'll tell you how we'll tense it first, and then we'll do it together. We're going to clench the fist, bend the elbow, and then imagine that you're making a strong bicep here, bodybuilder's pose. So let's go ahead and try this together. Bend the knee, lift the elbow off the earth, clench the fist, feel tension all the way from the wrist, all the way through the elbow and up into the bicep. Clench one more time, inhale, and then exhale, allow that arm to fully relax on the ground. Feeling relief from that tension that was in your hand, your lower arm, and your biceps. Your arm feeling heavier and warmer as it releases into the ground. We'll try the opposite side this time. So we'll go ahead and tense by clenching the fist, bending the elbow, feeling the muscles pull and tighten. Feel the muscles tighten all the way through your arm. Feel that tension, and then exhale, release fully into the earth. Noticing as your arm attains this deeper level of relaxation, sinking heavily into the floor, which holds our full weight. Letting those muscles smooth out, unwind, and relax. Next, we'll move on to our facial muscles. So to do this, we're going to wrinkle our eyebrows, squint our eyes shut, bite down our jaw, and pull the corners of our mouth back. So we'll do all that at one time. So go ahead and inhale, squint your eyes, wrinkle your eyebrows. See if you can raise your eyebrows, bite down your jaw, pull the corners of the mouth back. Take one more inhale and release. Release fully into all of those facial muscles. Feeling the skin on your forehead smoothing out. Feeling relief from tension in your jaw, around your eyes. Feeling the full weight of your head sinking into the earth. Attaining this deeper level of relaxation here as your muscles release completely. Now we're going to move into the belly. So this is 2 steps. There are 2 steps to this. First, we're going to inhale and draw the shoulder blades together behind the back. And at the same time, inhale and pull the belly in. So inhale, draw the shoulder blades together, draw the belly in on that inhale so you can hold the breath, tighten everything in the back body, and exhale, release, allowing yourself to fully relax into the mat, letting go completely. Just enjoying that very pleasant feeling of relaxation in your back body, in your arms, and in your facial muscles. Now we'll move into the low belly in a different way. So for this, we're actually going to inhale and breathe in, but we're going to press our belly up and out. So if you had your hand on your belly, you would feel your belly lift and feel that tightness in the belly. So on your next inhale, press the belly out. Feel that expansion in the belly. Make it hard. And exhale, completely release. Feeling that even deeper level of relaxation. Your belly is soft. Your back is heavy on the earth. You feel these deep waves of relaxation flowing through your body. Next, we'll move into the lower belly. So we'll start first just simply by lifting our dominant leg and then flexing the toes back toward our body. So on your next inhale, lift the leg, flex the toes, really feel stretching on the calf, feel your tension all the way through the upper thigh, and exhale, release that leg heavy into the earth. Maybe even take a moment to compare the two sides of your body. How does your non-dominant leg feel compared to the other? Do you notice a deeper level of relaxation in one leg? Moving to the opposite side, inhale to lift, flex your foot, really stretch out through your heel, feeling tension all the way from your heel to your upper thigh, and exhale, release. When you release, just let it relax completely, letting the full weight of your body relax into the earth like it's relaxing into warm sand on the beach. Feeling those muscles smooth out and unwind. Our last step is to point our toe on your dominant side and turn the foot in a little bit. So let's go ahead and try that. Pick your dominant leg. Inhale, lift, point your toe, and draw that foot inward a little bit. Exhale and release. Just absorbing that deep relaxation flowing into your muscles. Last side. Inhale, lift your non-dominant leg, point your toe, and turn that foot in a little bit. Take one more inhale. Feel the tension pull all the way from your toes up to your pelvis, and exhale, release deeply. Letting your body sink into the earth, noticing how the earth supports your body. Feeling heavy and warm from your head to your arms, to your back, to your belly, to your legs. Take one more inhale there. Bring yourself back to that intention that you said at the beginning of class, and as you exhale, exhale long, slow exhale out through your mouth. And last time, inhale. Breathe in that intention. Exhale, slow release through your mouth. Release your body into the earth. Take as much time as you need in this Shavasana pose. After that progressive relaxation, it might be hard to just return immediately to a seated position or to your daily life. So just take your time there to wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. Allow yourself to gradually open the eyes, fluttering the eyelashes first, and then coming back to that wakeful state. But take your time, it's no hurry. Stay in Shavasana as long as you would like. When you're ready to come out of it, I want to thank you for practicing with me today. I hope that you enjoyed that playful approach to balance poses, and have a great rest of your day. Namaste.